and my camera down there behind me, right over here, taking time lapse. I discovered a nest yesterday, a bird flying in and out of it. So while I talk to y'all about balance and equanimity, I'll allow the camera to do its thing, and we'll see what it shows up with while we're doing this. The other day, I had an opportunity to realize that every once in a while something will happen internally where I'll sense a moment of imbalance. Some people might call it vertigo or dizziness. Sometimes it's aging, sometimes it's just something going on inside the body, a chemical imbalance or something, not alcohol or drug related as far as I know, it could be medication, but a sense of imbalance. And what shows up psychologically, when all of a sudden my body's just telling me it wants to fall over or bump into things, has the ability to start a flurry of thoughts. Equanimity, in essence, what that is, simplistically, is a balanced mind and a balanced heart. And that's what this practice is going to be about, is turning inward and finding that balance, practicing it, so that when things do become uncomfortable and challenging and difficult, we can find that area of balance, an area of peace. Sometimes it contributes to our overall happiness as we do these kinds of practices. It's one of the things that is inevitable in life, is that we will experience pains and aches and that sort of thing. Equanimous practices have a way of allowing us to move through the difficulties, the challenges, in a way that can be more useful, contributes to our overall happiness and joy. Equanimity tends to be a stance of impartiality. Oftentimes people say, well, you're so equanimous that you don't have an opinion on things, whereas it's different than when it brings in some sort of upset, and it's not indifference. There is the ability, even in a space of being equanimous, of making choices, of picking one thing over and over another, having preferences of color choices, flavors, foods, etc. We make decisions all day long. We don't always do them with a balanced mind. Oftentimes we do them when there's upset with us. A balanced mind and a balanced heart contributes to us making different decisions that are a little more useful sometimes in life, versus being reactive. So some people refer to indifference as a near enemy of equanimity, and others might refer to reactivity as being a far enemy. When we're reactive to things, very often our thought processes will kick in later on and say, oh, I wish I would have done something different, or that's not like me. I don't know why I lost my temper, or I don't know why I punched my fist through the wall, or why I had another drink, or whatever. You can just fill in the blanks as to what our internal dialogue will start telling us around the decisions we make after the fact. Equanimity practices allow us to close that gap, close the space a little bit, or maybe widen it. I guess it might be gives us more space so that we're not reactive. We're more responsive to whatever's going on in the environment and around us, and in our thoughts within us also. This does start to get to how equanimity is a practice of a balanced mind and a balanced heart, balancing our entire space on how we show up. Sometimes there's phrases that show up in various cultures and systems. One of them is, we reap what we sow. Start speaking about our actions. You know, we make a decision, we do something, and then now we got to live with the consequences of what it is that we've done. So we reap what we sow. Other people call it karma. Somehow noticing that our actions are our responsibility, they're nobody else's responsibility, regardless of what it is. And believe it or not, a thought is actually an action. It's a process that goes on in the brain. And just because we have a thought doesn't mean we have to believe it, and it certainly doesn't mean we have to engage with it and do what it tells us to do. Now that sounds easier than it might be to implement and to experience, but that's what this practice can help us do, is to find the spaces to recognize, just because I'm having a thought, I don't necessarily have to believe it. Some people suggest that we have 40,000 to 80,000, 50,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Most of them don't need any attention, but every once in a while we grab one and we go, oh, I'm going to do that. That sounds like a good idea. And then later on, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Finding that balance, that's what it's about. Finding the space to recognize that we are responsible for our own actions, regardless of whatever my actions are. I'm responsible for them, regardless of what well wishes you might send my way, however it is that you want me to be. It's still going to be me, or vice versa. A fun interruption, a group of about 10 venturing out onto a hike just to enjoy the park out here in nature and whatnot. Back to equanimity and our actions, on how we're responsible for our actions, and our actions affect how our happiness shows up, regardless of what somebody may wish us. That's what this practice is going to be about. When I get back to the studio, I'll change microphones, turn the images off, maybe put some the nature images that show up. Maybe pick, if the bird starts showing up with the nest over here, maybe put that up on the backdrop. I don't know. This is a mystery. But when I get back to the studio, I'll record a equanimity practice.
This guided practice is inspired by the teachings of Jack Kornfield. To cultivate equanimity, sit in a comfortable posture. As the images on the screen begin to fade, closing the eyes if that feels safe. Bringing a soft attention to your breath until your body and mind are calm, by reflecting on the benefit of a mind that has balance and equanimity. Sensing what a gift it can be to bring a peaceful heart to the world around you. Letting yourself feel an inner sense of balance and ease. Then begin by repeating phrases such as, "May I be balanced and at peace." Acknowledging that all created things arise and pass away. Joys, sorrows, pleasant events, unpleasant events, difficulties, disappointments, people, buildings, animals, nations, even whole civilizations. Letting yourself rest in the midst of them all. May I learn to see the arising and passing of all nature with equanimity and balance. May I be open and balanced and peaceful. May I learn to see the arising and passing of all nature with equanimity and balance. May I be open and balanced and peaceful. Acknowledging that all beings are heirs of their own karma, and that their lives arise and pass away following the conditions and deeds created by them. While you can deeply love and care for others, in the end, their happiness and suffering depend on their thoughts and actions. To find equanimity with others, add this phrase: your happiness and suffering depend on your thoughts and actions, and not my wishes for you. Your happiness and suffering depend on your thoughts and actions, not my wishes for you. In the next steps, you can wish peace and equanimity to specific people you know, and then to those beyond, individually or in groups. Wishing, may you learn to see the arising and passing of all things with equanimity and balance. May you have true equanimity. May you be balanced and peaceful. May you learn to see the arising and passing of all things with equanimity and balance. May you have true equanimity. May you be balanced and peaceful. And finally, you can expand your own field of equanimity to include the entire world. May I bring compassion and equanimity to the events of the world. May I find balance and equanimity and peace amidst it all. May I bring compassion and equanimity to the events of the world. May I find balance and equanimity and peace amidst it all.